Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we are uncovering one of the most heartbreaking yet forgotten stories of the life and death of Prince Alemayehu Tewodros of Ethiopia, a 7-year-old prince, taken from his homeland after a brutal British invasion, raised in a foreign land, and buried far from his people. This is a story of war, loss, and a stolen legacy. Let's begin. In the rugged mountains of Ethiopia, a forgotten fortress stands in ruins. This is Magdala, the last stronghold of Emperor Tewodros II, a man who dared to defy an empire. And within these crumbling walls lies the beginning of one of history's most heartbreaking stories: the abduction and exile of Prince Alemayehu Tewodros, whose life was stolen by the British Empire. This is Prince Alemayehu. At just 7 years old, he was taken from his homeland, paraded as a trophy of war, and raised in a foreign land never to see Ethiopia again. His story is one of British cruelty, lost identity, and a motherland that still demands justice. The rise and fall of Emperor Tewodros II. To understand Alemayehu's fate, we must first meet his father, Emperor Tewodros, a self-made ruler who rose from obscurity to unify Ethiopia in the 1850s. He dreamed of a modern, independent Ethiopia free from foreign domination. But when he reached out to Britain for an alliance, his letters were ignored. Humiliated, Tewodros imprisoned British diplomats, a decision that would seal his doom. In 1867, Britain launched one of the most expensive military campaigns of the 19th century, not to conquer Ethiopia, but to punish Tewodros. Led by General Robert Napier, 13,000 British and Indian troops, 26,000 camp followers, and even elephants crossed treacherous terrain to reach Magdala. On April 10, 1868, the British stormed Magdala. Outgunned and betrayed by his own nobles, Tewodros chose death over surrender, shooting himself with a pistol gifted to him by Queen Victoria. But the real tragedy was just beginning. Was the Napier expedition about hostages or empire building? Of course they had to rescue citizens, but the scale was excessive. Therefore historians still debate this. The mission was framed as humanitarian, but the looting of Magdala suggests other motives. The abduction of Prince Alemayehu, the orphan prince. Inside Magdala, the British found a 7-year-old boy, Prince Alemayehu, now an orphan. His mother, Empress Tewodros, died on the journey to the coast. The British claimed they were saving him. But was this rescue or kidnapping? To Victorian Britain, Alemayehu was an exotic curiosity, a savage prince to be civilized. But to Ethiopia, he was a stolen heir. Alemayehu was placed under the care of Captain Tristram Speedy, a towering British officer who became his reluctant guardian. Later, Queen Victoria took personal interest in him, calling him a beautiful boy in her diaries. But behind the royal favor was a painful truth: Alemayehu was lonely. Bullied at school for his skin color, isolated from his culture, he wrote letters begging to return home. They were ignored. Queen Victoria took a personal interest in him, but despite her affection, she never supported his return to Ethiopia. Why? Because the British feared he might grow up to reclaim his father's throne. Death and the unending quest for justice. In 1879, at just 18 years old, Alemayehu died of pleurisy, a lung infection worsened by England's cold climate. His last words? "I want to go home." Queen Victoria paid for his burial at Windsor Castle, writing in her diary, "It is too sad. All alone in a strange country, without a single person or relative belonging to him." For over 140 years, Ethiopia has demanded the return of Alemayehu's remains along with hundreds of looted treasures from Magdala. But Britain refuses, claiming Windsor Castle is his resting place. Meanwhile, sacred artifacts looted from Magdala remain in British museums. Ethiopians argue this is about justice, not just bones. For them, Alemayehu symbolizes unresolved historical wounds inflicted by the British military expedition. The absence of the heir to Emperor Tewodros II throne led to the political instability of the country, that marked by civil war among the power contestants of the aftermath. Why this story still matters. Prince Alemayehu's story is not just history, it's about lasting wounds of the British military expedition to Ethiopia. How many other children were taken from their homes? How many cultures were stripped of their heritage? His life reminds us that the past is never truly buried. And again, Prince Alemayehu's story is more than history, it's a mirror, a reflection of stolen lives because of European intervention in Africa, and empires that took children away from their homeland ironically called it civilization. So I ask you, should Britain finally return the remains of Prince Alemayehu to his homeland? Let me know in the comments, and if you believe in justice, like and share this video. Because some wounds don't heal until the past is made right.